The following episode of Time Tellers is for educational and informational purposes only. While we strive for historical accuracy, interpretations and perspectives may vary. Some topics discussed may include sensitive or graphic content. Listener discretion is advised. The views expressed in this episode do not necessarily reflect those of the host, producers, or affiliates. We encourage listeners to conduct their own research and engage critically with the material. Last time on Time Tellers, we began in Chicago and drove west. We crossed Illinois, the Mississippi River, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and the Texas Panhandle.
Ew, Texas.
We met giant roadside figures, crossed historic bridges, explored caves and folk art, and stood in Glen Rio, a near ghost town on the Texas-New Mexican border.
Which felt less like a state line and more like a pause in the story.
Because now Route 66 changes.
Do you have a purse?
Yes.
Were you just that boat?
No, first.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
Can you see my purse on stage when I use it for the one character?
I didn't know you had it.
Okay. I was like, because now Route 66 changes. The land rises, the colors deepen.
The road moves into mesas, pueblos, lava fields, railroad towns, neon motels, petrified forests, desert trading posts, strip clubs, mountain passes, and Mojave heat.
Strip clubs?
You wrote it, not
That
me.
was not in there.
This is the part of the journey many people picture when they imagine Route 66.
Please point to where it says strip clubs. I'd like it stated for the record, he could not do that.
I pointed at my iPad.
The Southwest, but as always, the postcard is only part of the story.
So we are not just driving toward palm trees in the Pacific.
No, we are driving through deep time, indigenous homelands, railroad corridors, tourist myth-making, preservation battles, abandoned towns, folk art, and landscapes so vast, they make the road feel temporary. In part 1, we asked what Route 66 reveals about America. In part 2, we asked what happens when a road crosses places far older, deeper, and more complicated than the road itself. And that sounds like a joke.
Except, so was this an actual continuation that you split then on that other thing?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I wrote it in 2 parts.
Okay. That's what I was just getting slightly confused by.
No, that was just like a brief recap.
Oh, okay.
Like, this is what we just did. Now we're doing this.
10 weeks later when we air this one. So when are we going to tell our readers, this is season 3 now? For our listeners.
And news to me.
It's July.
No, it is July. But what is the first official?
Technically, the last one will be.
Like Tuesdays was the first.
Technically.
Maybe we should record a quick, promo after this. But we need to get this done. Because it's already 3:30. And I would like to see my boyfriend at some point today.
Why?
You better leave that in.
Okay. I'm just asking. Honest question. Will he remember if you're there or not?
We begin.
I want to leave your answer. Come on, answer. That look did not translate to an audio recording.
We begin part 2, crossing into New Mexico. In New
I
Mexico, Route 66, one of its longest and richest state sections. The route moves through landscapes that feel dramatically different from the Midwest and plains. Desert grasslands, mesas, red earth, volcanic fields, pueblos, railroad towns, old motels, neon signs, and mountain horizons.
This is where the road starts looking like the posters. But the poster version can hide as much as it reveals. Route 66 in New Mexico runs through places shaped by indigenous nations. Spanish colonization, Mexican sovereignty, U.S. conquest, railroad expansion, ranching, tourism, and automobile travel.
This is not empty desert. It is layered land. Depending on the alignment, Route 66 travelers move through or near communities such as Tucumcari, Santa Rosa, Moriarty, Albuquerque, Grant, and Gallup. Speaking of Albuquerque, I've been watching In Plain Sight recently. Anyways. Older versions of the route also looped north through Santa Fe before later alignments created a more direct path through Albuquerque.
So even here, Route 66 is not one single road.
Exactly. Route 66 changed over time. Its alignment shifted, towns gained traffic or lost it.
A place that was central on one version of the road could become secondary on another. That matters because Route 66 history is never only about where the road went, it's also about where the road stopped going. Our first major stop in New Mexico is a town that still glows with the motel era. And aliens, because it's New Mexico.
Tucumcari? Tucumcari? Tucumcari, New Mexico?
Probably
Tucumcari?
Hmm.
Tucumcari? New Mexico is one of the great Route 66 motel towns. And if you live there, please tell us how to pronounce the name. Its name alone seems made for travel brochures. The town became famous for signs promising rooms, restaurants, and rest after long hours on the road. For westbound travelers, Tucumcari announced that that is where the Southwest had truly begun. One of its most beloved landmarks is the Blue Swallow Motel. The National Park Service describes Blue Swallow as a motor court built around the needs of automobile travelers. It has an L-shaped plan, individual units, a small office, a manager's residence, and garages placed between some of the rooms.
Garages between the rooms feels extremely Route 66. And you should definitely look at my friend Justin Scar's video on this because he actually shows a lot of the garages that have actually still been reconverted into hotel rooms and such.
Motor courts were designed around the car. Today, we think of a hotel room as separate from transportation. But in the early automobile age, your car was part of your travel units. You pulled up near your room, your luggage stayed close, your vehicle is sheltered beside you. That design tells you how deeply the automobile shaped roadside architecture.
Yeah, there's actually very few of those left because most of them converted into additional hotel rooms just to double the capacity because of how big the garages were.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Swallow also shows how neon became part of Route 66's identity. Neon did more than decorate a building.
It reassured travelers after dark. It said, sorry, that is still my line. It said, here is shelter, here is vacancy, here's a place to stop.
And shop, just because there's always shopping.
Yes.
That should have been your line.
I don't shop that much.
Okay, there's a yarn store.
Get out of my way. Or a bookstore.
What if it's a yarn store that sells books or a bookstore that sells yarn?
Then I'm basically moving in.
We have books and yarn.
Set me up somewhere, I'll create a book/yarn store.
Okay, you can move into the cage behind the elevator.
Yeah, no.
I won't walk it, for real. So neon was practical before it became nostalgic.
Today, old neon signs are romantic, but for tired drivers, they were information. They marked food, fuel, beds, repairs, and safety. Tucumcari survives in Route 66 memory because it still carries that glow. It reminds us that the road was not only about driving, it was also stopping. From Tucumcari, we continue west towards Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa is known for old Route 66 motels and for the Blue Hole, a deep natural swimming spot that feels almost impossible in the dry landscape around it.
Is it blue?
Apparently it's blue, yes.
And it's a hole?
Yes.
They should get
Blue
that
hole.
checked.
Does sound dangerous.
Or tasty.
Very concerned now.
What? What if it's from a blue raspberry milkshake? Or
There's
raspberry
such thing
slushy?
as blue raspberry milk.
I meant to say slush.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Where were you going with that?
I don't know. You were the one talking about milkshakes. I was concerned about the blue part of the milkshake.
See? Then the route moves towards Albuquerque. If we follow the earlier Santa Fe alignment, the road bends north before turning back south. If we follow the later alignment, it moves more directly through Albuquerque. That shift matters.
Every Route 66 map is also a record of decisions. Which towns remained on the road, which ones were bypassed, which businesses benefited, and which ones lost traffic. A lot of politics going on.
The map can look neutral, but it changes people's lives.
In Albuquerque, Route 66 became urban again. The city contains one of the largest urban stretches of the old road, lined with motels, diners, signs, and Pueblo Deco architecture. The road here today does not feel local.
It feels layered. City traffic, neon, native art markets, railroad history, tourism, and 20th century growth all sharing the same corridor. West of Albuquerque, the land begins to rise again. We head toward Grant's lava fields, Gallup, and the Continental Divide.
West of Albuquerque, the road enters high desert country. Near Grants, Route 66 passes close to Elmer National Monument, a landscape of lava flows, cinder cones, sandstone bluffs, and ancient travel routes.
That sounds like the land is reminding the road who was there first, or trying to direct you to Mordor.
Yeah, Mordor.
Yes.
The black lava field around Elmer Paz are a powerful contrast to the polished nostalgia of Route 66 and postcards. The road here feels recent, temporary, almost fragile.
That sense grows stronger as we continue west towards Gallup. Gallup has long been associated with the railroad, trading posts, native arts, tourism, and Route 66 commerce.
It sits in a region connected to Navajo, Zuni, and other indigenous communities, and its economy has long been tied to the complicated relationship between native artists, traders, tourists, and outside buyers.
So when travelers bought souvenirs, they were entering a much bigger story.
Trading posts and souvenir shops could connect travelers with genuine native-made art, jewelry, rugs, pottery, and cultural traditions. But Route 66 tourism also packaged the Southwest for outsiders. It often reduces complex indigenous cultures into signs, symbols, stereotypes, and objects for sale. And then, Dan says, that tension follows us through much of the second half of this trip. Okay.
The Southwest became one of the most heavily imagined regions in American tourism.
Route 66 helps sell that image. Then somewhere west of this region, travelers cross the Continental Divide.
The place where the country tilts.
That is one of my favorite ways to think about it. Not really, but it is kind of funny. The Continental Divide marks a wide watershed boundary. Water on one side ultimately drains towards one ocean system. Water on the other side drains towards the other. For motorists, it became a symbolic moment.
You mean it divides?
It kind of like the name says. Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh. But your name says HR, and far from it.
HR with no real power. HR gets paid better than me.
A sign beside the road told them they had crossed the spine of the continent. After that, the journey continues towards Arizona. And Arizona brings us into some of the most iconic Route 66 landscapes of all.
Arizona's stretch of Route 66 follows a corridor that people used long before automobiles. Travelers, traders, indigenous communities, surveyors, soldiers, railroad builders, and migrants all moved through parts of this region before Route 66 existed. The old road passed through or near places such as Lupton, Holbrook, Joseph City, Winslow, Flagstaff, Williams, Seligman, Peach Springs, Kingman, Oatman, and Topok.
Arizona gives us petrified wood, painted desert, railroad towns, trading posts, pine forests, high plateaus, mining history, wild burrows, and one of the most dramatic old road drives left. Our first Arizona stop connects Route 66 to a timescale almost too large to imagine.
That's what she said. Petrified Forest National Park is one of the most important natural stops on Route 66.
I'll touch your shawl.
It preserves petrified wood, fossils, archaeological sites, and the colorful landscapes of the Painted Desert. It is the only national park that contains a section of historic Route 66.
So Route 66 literally runs through deep time.
This stop does something most roadside attractions cannot do. It makes the highway feel young. Route 66 was established in 1926. America is marking its 250th anniversary in 2026. That is why we are doing these episodes. But the petrified forest here are from a world hundreds of millions of years older than either date. Anyways, suddenly the roads, the cars, the motels, the neon signs, and even the entire United States feels like a brief moment.
A blink with a gift shop.
A very American way to put it. Petrified
fireworks, beer, hot dogs. America.
Woohoo! Petrified Forest also reminds us that Route 66 did not create the importance of these landscapes. The road made them accessible to certain kinds of travelers, but the land had already held geological, ecological, and cultural meaning.
That distinction matters. The road is not the oldest story here. It's only the one layer.
Leaving the Petrified Forest area, we move towards Holbrook and Joseph City. The road runs through open country near the Little Colorado River corridor and the Santa Fe Railroad line. Again, Route 66 is not alone.
It travels beside older paths, waterways, railroad tracks, and indigenous homelands. And along this stretch, one of the most famous pieces of Route 66 advertising begins to appear. It is here, a black jackrabbit, a yellow sign, and the promise that something is getting closer.
And this is the one that Dan's really looking forward to.
Don't make me pull up the pictures of me at it.
It's a rabbit.
I have pictures of me sitting on the rabbit.
I know. I'm positive that is true. We should probably put that somewhere.
No, we shouldn't.
Oh, but you can put my picture on the local news. Okay.
I had nothing to do with that.
Well, I've decided Megs is the only person who's allowed to take photos of me because I usually come out looking 20 pounds lighter. The Jackrabbit Trading Post stands in Joseph City, Arizona. It became famous for a simple but brilliant advertising campaign. Travelers would see signs featuring a black jackrabbit silhouette and a mile marker. The sign might appear when the trading post is still far away, then closer and closer. Finally, a large sign declared, "Here it is."
I have a replica sign with how many miles it is.
Oh my God.
They sell them.
I'm positive they do.
No, they actually make them and sell them.
Oh my God.
You know, like you see them around Erie, how they used to have those how many miles to the Boston store signs?
Yeah.
That's almost annoyingly perfect.
Before GPS, before online reviews, and before social media, roadside businesses had to create anticipation physically. They had to place curiosity along the road.
The jackrabbit signs turned the drive into a countdown. By the time travelers arrived, many felt they had to stop because the signs had made the destination part of the trip.
Still your
The trading post sold souvenirs, postcards, snacks, drinks, and the experience of arrival. How do you put a price on that?
Apparently you don't.
Oh, okay. So
But
that's like your free gift with purchase.
It's like to call.
But like many trading posts along Route 66 in Arizona and New Mexico, it also raises larger questions about how the Southwest was marketed.
Some trading posts sold authentic native-made goods. Others sold mass-produced souvenirs or romanticized versions of native culture.
So the jackrabbit is fun, but the business model tells us something bigger.
Route 66 did not merely bring travelers through the Southwest. It taught many of them what kind of Southwest they expected to see. Rabbits, desert signs, petrified wood, turquoise. Yay. Yeah, I like turquoise.
So you like rocks.
Well, banging them together makes more sense than most men do.
So you like banging rocks.
Again, probably more pleasurable than most men could ever do. Sorry.
That just sounds painful. I mean, you gotta explain this to me. How do you bang rocks?
I'm just being silly.
I'm confused.
Can we please finish this? It's almost 4 o'clock. I've been here for an hour and a half.
Okay, I'm gonna need after this episode, we're gonna need another episode on you explaining this one. For Patreon. Trading Posts Mystery. The Jackrabbit Trading Post shows how advertising can turn the landscape into anticipation and place into performance.
Between Winslow and Flagstaff, near the Route 66 corridor, is one of the most dramatic detours in Arizona. Meteor Crater, also known as Beringer Crater.
So we leave the road for a giant hole in the ground.
Sounds right. But it's a scientifically spectacular giant hole in the ground. Meteor Crater formed roughly 50,000 years ago when a meteorite struck northern Arizona. The crater is about a mile wide and more than 500 feet deep. This stop belongs in our Route 66 journey because it radically changes the scale. We've been talking about 100-year-old highway and a 250-year-old nation. Meteor Crater reminds us that both of those timelines are tiny.
The land keeps humiliating our anniversaries.
There's also space-age connection. Apollo astronauts trained at Meteor Crater as part of preparations for lunar missions. That means this detour connects Route 66, geology, automobile tourism, and the moon.
Which is extremely time-telling.
Yeah. After Meteor Crater, the landscape shifts again as we continue towards Flagstaff. The elevation rises, the air cools, ponderosa pines appear. Route 66 is not finished changing costumes. I like Flagstaff. Flagstaff brings Route 66 into mountain country.
The city's history includes railroads, lumber, tourism, astronomy, and its role as a gateway to the Grand Canyon region.
West of Flagstaff, we continue through Williams and towards Seligman. Seligman is crucial to the modern Route 66 revival. After interstate construction bypassed older alignments, residents and business owners worked to preserve and promote the historic road. Wait for our episode on the various alignments.
Seligman became one of the places where Route 66 nostalgia turned into organized preservation.
So the road survived partly because people refused to let it disappear.
Route 66 preservation was not automatic. It required local effort, political organizing, tourism campaigns, museums, signs, associations, and people who understood that the road's value was cultural as well as economic.
From Seligman, the route continues towards Kingman. And after Kingman, the driving becomes more dramatic.
Dun dun dun.
You know that song?
From Kingman, the old alignment heads into the Black Mountains towards Oatman and Sitgreave Pass. This is one of the most memorable surviving drives of Route 66. It's narrow, winding, steep. It's very different from modern interstate travel.
This is where I grip the dashboard and pretend I'm fine.
You should see him. He's terrified. Sitgreaves
I
Pass.
drove you to New York City just fine.
My mental health has still not recovered. Sitgreaves Pass climbs through rugged desert mountains before descending towards Oatman and eventually Topock near the Colorado River, which I have
Yay.
been on.
As made famous by Oregon Trail.
This stretch reminds us that the early automobile travel was not always comfortable or easy. Modern highways often flatten the experience of geography. They cut, widen, grade, straighten, and speed us through the land. Older roads make us feel the land. The turns, climbs, drop-offs, and narrow shoulders all become part of the experience. Oatman begins as a mining town and later became Route 66 stop. Today it is famous for wild burros wandering the street. Local tradition connects those burros to pack animals from the mining era.
Sadly, you used to be able to feed them all the carrots you wanted, but then they realized it makes them blind because of the sugar content.
Oh, why? Poor burros.
So now you can only give them little, hay treats like you should have always. You know, that's the same thing that people think with rabbits. They think you should give them carrots. No, you should. So far in this two-part trip, Route 66 has given us spacemen, whales, Cadillacs, jackrabbits, and burros.
Route 66 refuses to be one thing. After Oatman and Topock, we cross the Colorado River into California. The Colorado is one of the defining rivers in the American West. It supports cities, agriculture, hydroelectric systems, recreation, ecosystems, and political conflict across a vast region. Crossing it marks the entrance into a final state of our journey.
But California does not begin with beaches, it begins with desert.
The California section of Route 66 begins near Needles and moves through the Mojave Desert. The route continues through or near Goffs, or is that Jeff's? Joffs? Is that G supposed to be it? Okay.
Amboy. Who knows?
Yeah. Amboys, Ludlow, Newberry Springs, Barstow, Victorville, San Bernardino, Pasadena. Sorry, I got distracted. Los Angeles and Santa Monica.
Something petrified wood. So after all that distance, California still makes us work for the ocean.
It does. Before the palm trees and the pier, there is heat, long dry stretches, volcanic cones, salt flats nearby.
Sparse services and the knowledge that water-fueled shade and mechanical reliability could matter enormously. The desert section of Route 66 is beautiful, but it is not gentle. Our first major California stop captures the road's decline, survival, and revival in one unforgettable sign.
I didn't scroll, sorry.
Oh boy.
Amboy, California is one of the most cinematic places on Route 66. As its center stands Roy's Motel and Cafe, which with its famous Googie-style sign rising like a desert lighthouse. Good grief.
Are you done with your corrections?
Yes.
Okay. That sign looks like it's trying to save you from emptiness. Please, something save me from emptiness.
Is what this job is for you. That is exactly why it works. Amboy grew as a service town for travelers crossing the Mojave. Fuel, food, repairs, and lodgings were not luxuries here. They were essential. Roy became the kind of place where the architecture itself promised survival.
And the traffic patterns changed. As with other Route 66 towns, interstate construction and faster travel weakened Amboy's economy, but Amboy did not simply disappear.
In the 21st century, preservation efforts helped keep Roy in the town's Route 66 identity alive. That makes Amboy different from a simple ruin. It's both abandoned and protected, both ghost town and destination, both memory and business.
So the sign is not only nostalgic, it is also stubborn, otherwise known as a Renee.
Amboy shows that preservation is often an act of defiance, a way of saying that a place still matters, even after the traffic has moved elsewhere. From Amboy, Route 66 continues through the Mojave towards Ludlow and Barstow. Barstow has been a long, important railroad and highway town. From there, we move southwest towards Victorville and Oro Grande. And before we leave the desert behind, Route 66 offers one more handmade world, a forest made of glass. Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch stands in Oro Grande, California, along the historic Route 66 corridor. It is a folk art environment made from metal poles, glass bottles, old signs, wheels, tools, typewriters, toys, and desert-found objects. Elmer Long built it over many years, creating a strange and beautiful forest from cast-offs.
That sounds like Route 66 turned into a sculpture.
Exactly. Sunlight shines through the bottles, wind moves through them. The ranch became a desert wind chime, an open-air gallery, and a memory archived all at once. This is not a corporate tourism.
It is a personal vision. Like many folk art environments, Bottle Tree Ranch faces a difficult preservation question. What happens when the person who built the world is gone?
Elmer Long died in 2019, and the site's future depends on family care, public interest, resources, and the willingness of people to value fragile roadside art.
So by this point in the trip, we have gone from preserved motels to abandoned towns to handmade memory gardens.
Bottle Tree Ranch feels like a symbol for Route 66 itself. The road is full of things America nearly threw away. Old alignments, rusting signs, closed motels, abandoned gas stations, forgotten bridges, in towns that had to fight to remain visible. Elmer's art turned discarded objects into something luminous. Route 66 preservation tries to do something similar. They ask us to look at, again, what we almost passed by. From Oro Grande, we continue towards Victorville and on towards Cajun Pass. This is one of the first major landscape transitions of the entire trip. Behind us lie the Mojave Desert, Amboy's, Barstow, and Bottle Tree Ranch. Ahead are mountains, suburbs, city trees, and finally the Pacific.
Route 66 is one more threshold to cross.
Cajun Pass cuts through the mountains between the Mojave Desert and the Los Angeles Basin. For westward travelers, it marks the descent of the desert interior into Southern California.
So even after the desert, the road still has to go through the mountains.
Passes like Cajun matter because they shape movement. Roads, railroads, trades, migration, and military travel all depended on a few places where mountains could be crossed more easily. Geography funnels people through certain corridors. Cajun Pass is one of those corridors.
Once travelers come through the pass, the journey changes quickly.
The road moved into San Bernardino and then through a chain of cities and suburbs. Rialto, Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga, Upland, Claremont, Pasadena, Los Angeles, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and Santa Monica. I'm like, you're part of the reason
So
it's
Route
taking so
66
long.
begins in a city and ends in a city.
That symmetry matters. The road begins in Chicago, a city shaped by railroads, industry, immigration, labor, and Lake Michigan. It ends in Los Angeles area, a region shaped by automobiles, movies, aerospace, suburban growth, beaches, and dreams of reinvention.
The road is often imagined as empty, but its endpoints are urban. Route 66 connects cities by moving through everything between them.
And, that's your line.
And at the western end, public memory gives us one final ritual.
A photo at the ocean.
Boring.
For many travelers, Santa Monica Pier is the symbolic end of Route 66. Strictly speaking, the official endpoint is complicated. Route 66 alignments change over time, and historians can debate exact western endpoints depending on the year and the alignment. But in public memory, Santa Monica Pier has become the place where the journey reaches its emotional conclusion.
After more than 2,000 miles, the Pacific is a pretty convincing ending.
It is. The road ends with water, and that feels right. Across this two-part journey, we began near Lake Michigan.
We crossed the Mississippi, we crossed Ozark waterways, we moved through plains, high desert, lava fields, the Continental Divide, the Colorado River, the Mojave, and mountain passes.
Now we stand at the Pacific Ocean.
Yay.
That is the physical story of the trip. Water, land.
Road, mountain, desert,
Ocean.
and a lot of signs with rabbits.
And so many signs. Santa Monica also turned the road trip into a ritual. Travelers take photos, they mark arrival, they prove they made it.
Route 66 has always been partly about the destination and partly about the act of becoming the kind of person who crossed the country by road. By the time you reach the pier, you have not simply traveled from Chicago to California, you have moved through layers of American history.
So what did the second half of this journey show us? It showed us that Route 66 is not only a highway, it's a lens. In New Mexico, it revealed neon motels, changing alignments, railroad towns, indigenous homelands, and the way tourism packaged the Southwest.
In Arizona, it carried us through petrified forests, trading posts, cosmic impacts, mountain towns, preservation efforts, mining history, and the rugged drama of Sitgreaves Pass.
In California, it crossed the Mojave Desert, passed through Amboy and Barstow, paused at Bottle Tree Ranch, descended Cajun Pass, and entered the Los Angeles Basin.
And it kept changing.
Constantly. That may be the most important thing about Route 66. It refuses to stay one kind of place. It's a desert street, it's a city street.
A business corridor, a tourist fantasy, a migration route, a preservation project, a symbol of freedom.
A reminder of exclusion, a gallery of homemade art, a chain of small businesses, a graveyard of bypassed dreams, a national myth built from local stories.
So the Mother Road is not simple.
No, and it should not be. The appeal of Route 66 is not that it gives us one clean version of America, it is that it contains contradictions.
Freedom and danger, wonder and exploitation, beauty and decay, commerce and creativity, nostalgia and loss, movement and abandonment.
Route 66 lets us know how Americans sold dreams, chased work, built towns, borrowed images, created art, excluded travelers, welcomed strangers, and tried to survive when the traffic moved away. It's not only a road across country, it's a road through American imagination. At Santa Monica, we look west, and there is no more road, only water. Behind us are New Mexico's neon signs and lava fields, Arizona's petrified forests, trading posts, railroad towns, mountain passes, and desert burrows. California's Mojave heat, Amboy's stubborn sign, Bottle Tree Ranch glass forests, Cajun Pass, and the long urban descent into Los Angeles.
Behind us are motels, diners, signs, gas stations, trading posts, folk art, ghost towns, bridges, rivers, mountains, and desert.
Behind us are the stories of people who built businesses because traffic came, and people who lost everything when traffic left.
That is a lot of America.
It is, and maybe that is why Route 66 still works on us. Because even when the road is broken, bypassed, rerouted, repainted, or half abandoned, it gives us the feeling that America can be understood by moving through it slowly, not flying over it, not scrolling past it.
Driving it, town by town, river by river, sign by sign, story by story.
Route 66 began as a highway, became a business machine, then a migration route, then a vacation road, then a casualty of the interstate system, then a memory, then a revival. And now, at 100 years old, it asks us what we choose to preserve.
The road?
Yes, the road, but also the stories beside it. The motel owners,
This is like the end of the Lord of the Rings.
the gas
Ended
station,
like 18 times.
the gas station attendants, the artists, the waitresses, the mechanics, the travelers who felt free, the travelers who were not safe, the towns that survived, the towns that did not, and the people who still turn on the neon because someone somewhere might be coming down the road.
So Route 66 is not just about where America went.
It's about who got to travel, who got left behind, who made a living from movement, and who is still waiting to be seen. At the end of the Mother Road, the Pacific keeps moving. The waves come in, the waves go out. And behind us, 2,400 miles of road remain, not as one perfect preserved highway, but as fragments.
Old pavement, restored signs, ghost towns, museum exhibits.
Family businesses, local legends, and places that still ask us to slow down. For Time Tellers, I'm Renee.
I can't say I'm Dan because this isn't even close to over yet.
It is over.
I think we forgot to name a few people.
Until next time, keep your eyes on the road and your curiosity on what is waiting beyond the next sign. Bye. It's over.
You're lying. We're not done yet.
Yes, we are. I'm shutting my computer.
Doesn't sound like you're shutting your computer. So, that was a sound effect.
Very funny.